So let's start talking about composition. And we're going to talk about many elements of composition, but the first thing we want to look at is the rule of thirds. So what is the rule of thirds? If you divide this image up into thirds, you're going to find that, imagine there's a line that goes down this lady's between her, down her nose and between her eyes. It's a third of the way from the top and a third of the way from the side. This is one of the most basic compositional rules out there. You'll see many people talking about it, but it's one of the most simple, it's one of the most effective. It's a great place to start when you're taking portraits and you're starting to see the light, creative photography. What you have to remember again, this is completely candid. This is lit, as memory serves, with available light. This is not me, setting up with lots of lights. This is a candid picture. This is just a moment in time that's caught. And obviously she wants a portrait taken, so we've just put her in the light, just taken it, but we've just then sat her in the third of the way in, third of the way down, and we have the rule of thirds. And that creates a balance in the picture oftentimes, that it creates a natural balance in the picture. And like I say, it's one of the most fundamental rules. So let's look at it in another image. Again, it might not be obvious, but the mother, again, we can see. Now, the light on this, you can see it's backlit. She's getting a light coming through her hair, which creates texture. Harsh sun. I've got you can't see it here, but I've actually got a wall that's quite a distance behind her, which becomes the backdrop, keeps it nice and simple. And then, because it's a cloudy day, there's some clouds in the sky that's bouncing light back into her face. So that this is just a completely candid street image, but she has actually asked me to take the image, so I've just quickly positioned her, not used any movement of light. All I've done is moved her, moved my feet, got this shot, rule of thirds, really simple, portrait, done. This little fella, again, little bumblebee, flying. I shot this with my 5D Mark II, which is not known for its great focusing ability. It's one of my oldest cameras. And as you can see, we've got him in that rule of thirds, and it creates interest. Here's this little bumblebee. I've caught his wings, it's frozen, and here he is flying home, doing his business. There's a little story going on here. But the rule of thirds just gives me a sense of balance. It gives the image some weight. It gives some space for the story to happen in. Now, I wanted to show you this because this is a typical touristy snapshot. But just by using the rule of thirds, we take it beyond just a bad picture to actually quite a nice picture. And this is my wife, Philomena. And, so I've just wanted to take a picture of her near the castle. This is where a friend of ours got married, and we was just walking around the grounds, taking some pictures before the wedding. And I just asked her to stand there. So by just putting it in the rule of thirds, putting an interesting backdrop, being very careful about where the light is, and again, pure natural sunlight, some light bouncing out of the sky onto the face, sitting her a little bit forward, so she's in the light, she's not in the shadow, and then the background and everything all working together, and it takes it from a snapshot to a nice image. And it really is as simple as that. That's the difference sometimes in photography. It's as simple as knowing how to see the light, observe the light, see what a person is in the light, and knowing how to compose an image and just create a simple little picture like that. Is it a great image? No. But I just wanted to show you how you can take a snapshot, what would be a snapshot image, and actually turn it into something that is actually quite nice. Now, here's another thing for the rule of thirds. Landscapes benefit from using the rule of thirds. So what that means is, on this one, you can see that the sky and the sea meet a third of the way down. Now, one of the landscape rules that you'll hear is whatever is most interesting gets to dominate the thirds. So in this instance, the sunset, the sky colours, that was what I'm really after. So I'm going to put that as 2/3 of the image. The bottom section, I'm going to bring that down as 1/3 of the image, because that's the sea and that's not the strong point. So I'm not going to have loads of sand showing in the image when I've got a sky like that. So that helps you choose when you do landscapes which rule of thirds you should actually use. Now, the other thing we have to remember is a rule of thirds is not really a rule, it's a guide. What about the rule of fourths? What about the rule of fifths? When you start creating imaginary lines and you start adding, those as focus points, it can create a lot of interest and a lot of dynamism. I use a lot of rule of fourths and a lot of rule of fifths in my photography because I love the use of negative space, which we're going to talk about later. So don't be limited by the rule of thirds. You don't want every image to be a rule of thirds. It's just there to help you to stop sticking your subject right in the middle of the frame, which is what most people tend to do, which is oftentimes an awful image.